I am Vintereo and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So we are going to jump right into this adventure again.
Alright.
And see what we can get into. So bear attack. So I think we're going to accept both of these. I know the more we get done, the better. So let's do them. Let's see on our map where they want us to go. So both of them are out. And let's go probably kill some bees, take out some bears, get some more lovely experience, and then we will be good to go. Okay, let's on the road again. Making some good progress over here. Ish, that's a lot of wolves. So let's do that. Alright, Alistair, you need to do your job now. You'll not be attacking me.
We go to combat!
Alright.
Alright. That's a good one. Don't lose anybody, that's nice. So let's do some looting, see what we can pick up here. Okay. Oops, shame. Lady didn't make it. And that's the little boy's mother. Why can't we interact?
Delighted.
She almost made it back. But yeah, that's not good at all. Okay, but yeah, we'll just give him another. Ooh, what's this? What's happening? Okay, so let's do that. Do that.
Here we go!
So I shall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not what I expected. I thought I could get them in there. Okay, quest updated. I think we can go back. We've completed both of them. So yeah, let's head on back to the village. That was a nice, easy one. Yeah, take out some wolves, bears. That I think that the hardest part of this mission will be to tell the little boy that his mother is fucked. But other than that, I think we did quite a decent job. Yeah. Right, so let's get over the bridge. There's the little guy that only speaks in riddles.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just. And the stars stood still, the winds did quiet, and all animals of earth and air held their breath. All was silent in prayer and thanks.
Alright, dude, you... Okay, so what, any other jobs? No jobs. Okay, let's see if
We found someone sleeping in our fields.
And Eileen spoke unto the masses, my hearth is yours, my bread is yours, my life is yours. For all who walk in the sight of the Maker are one.
Greetings. Smile back.
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
He can't answer you. He's Chanter Devons.
What's a chanter?
One of them that can only say the chant of light. His board has letters of good deeds to be doing. My father fixed Widow Allison's roof once, and the charter paid him, he did.
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and unto the Maker.
Okay. So this guy only speaks riddles. Right, let's see if we have anything else to do here. No. Any other? No. Right, so let's see what is our blight story. So we have to get to the Paragon of a kind Ozamar. Okay, this is the Dalish clans. This is Circle, Lovering, and Imperial Arrow. Rest and resupply. You have a route to Lovering, and you may rest and resupply. Past the village lies the Imperial Highway, and the road runs through. Okay, so there's nothing else here we have to do. So I think we are going to head to Redcliffe. Let's just go make sure that there's nothing in here going on in here. No, absolutely nothing. Alright, so let's hit the road. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's over the bridge and that side, that's where we need to go.
As you desire.
Let's go grab this over here. Goods, goods, goods. And let's hit the road.
Why are you here?
Excuse me?
Obviously you are no priestess, but shouldn't you be running a shop or a farm somewhere rather than fighting?
You think to tell me my place, Kunari? You are very brave.
It is not done.
But it is done. Do not be such a blind fool.
I speak the truth. It is not I who is blind.
Look around you, then. You see women throughout this land, fighters and mages both.
That has yet to be proven.
Which, that they fight? Or that they are female?
Either.
So I am not truly a woman to you, hmm? 'Tis good to know.
Alright, that's interesting conversation. Okay.
Someone help us!
Ooh,
All right.
Follow me and you shall pay!
Okay. That was like a semi-suicide.
All right.
Suicide watch there, but it managed to do the trick. So I'm just gonna drain some health, get that health back.
A finer scene of carnage I have yet to
Alright,
see!
good.
Mighty timely arrival there, my friend. I'm much obliged.
You're welcome.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Road's been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way.
Doubt you want to travel with Grey Warden.
Grey Wardens? My, that does rather explain a lot. No offence, but I suspect there's more excitement on your path than my boy and I can handle. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune, though.
Goodbye.
Now then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we?
Alright, so hello.
All right.
Don't mind if I take some compensation for saving your lives. So, Blood Mage, lock. Okay, is there anything here? No, we already looted there. Okay, so let's hit the road. We saved some dwarves.
Of course.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Try Adventure 4th, yes.
Bad dreams, huh?
It seemed so real.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight.
Is that the Archdemon? Is that a dragon?
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too.
Thank you, Alistair. I appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for. To deliver unpleasant news and witty one-liners. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Okay, we've got our camp set up. I think what we're going to do before we leave is let's go do some chatting, and I see some quests here as well. So let's talk in this or dog. Let's go speak to the dog first.
Oh, why you little...
Did you jump at the sight of your own shadow again?
Oh, you're so funny. Such rapier wit. Your furry friend here took offence at me getting near his food. He snapped at me. Look.
There's hardly any blood drawn. Still, you shouldn't have.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me. I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
If you've had and you didn't know about it, it probably was tasty.
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
It's the thought that counts. He means well.
The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
You heard the lady.
I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
I think you hurt his feelings.
Oh, he's just trying to be manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Trying to find a way through the earth, are we? It's going to take some time, you know. Well, good luck with that then. Oh, let's bet Roof just a bit. Hey, boy. Hey, my boy. Okay. We've done that interactions. Yeah, I like speaking to the people, you know, for fellow members to, you know, see their personality and development. It's always quite nice in these types of games.
What do you need?
Do you want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
Just thought you might need to talk.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
That's an excellent idea.
I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
I've lost enough to know what you're going through.
Yes, I imagine you really have, haven't you? Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Anytime, Alistair. I've got some reputation. That's what we want. We want to
What do you need?
get some good reputation with them. I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
So let's just go through
Essentially,
this.
they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
Shouldn't Anders learn these talents?
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
So you were addicted to this lyrium?
Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templars' talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away, either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Okay, so we get some more. So I think
What do you
let's
need?
keep on talking to them and see what's happening.
Ask away.
Can you teach others to be Templars?
I suppose I could. But I really would rather not. When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word.
Very well. I'll respect your word.
Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all.
Alright, so first one. That's
What do you
fine.
need?
Let's...
Ask away.
Okay, so we already done that one, so let's go to 2. Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Where's the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here, but I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens now that there's just 2 of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Logain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
We will need to start rebuilding the Order.
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be 2 of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
Alright, let's go. Away. So we've done the Grey Wardens. So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Ha ha ha. Very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
So you mentioned before...
It's really for the best. I'm not exactly the Chantry type, if you haven't noticed. I don't think I would have made a very good Templar. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
Okay.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Okay, so we talked about the Grey Wardens, so let's talk about all...
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
That will explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
That would explain the breath as well, then.
And my table manners, too. Though, come to think of it, they weren't all that different from the other Templars. Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on a cold, hard ground, isn't it?
I dream of becoming a Grey Warden. Oh, wait.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
He wasn't your father, so you know who is?
I know who I was told was my father. He died even before my mother did, anyhow. It isn't important. Our Lehman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
That's an awful thing to do to a child.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
And you think the all will help us?
I think so, yes. This news we've heard about him being sick disturbs me, though. I wonder if we won't discover that Loghain has come to the same conclusion as we have. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Okay, so I think we've spoken...
What do you need? What do you need? Ask away.
Would you have remained a Templar if...
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
In that case, you should have become a mage.
Oh, you aren't kidding. I think the Templar uniforms are as colourful as they are just so the Templars didn't feel dull in comparison. Last thing you want when you're about to take down some Maleficar out in the woods is to have him point and laugh at your taste in clothing, am I right?
Seems like that might happen anyway.
Oh, ow, ow. Stab wounds to the pride are the worst. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
Then make up something more exciting.
You know, I like the way you think. You're all right. If you're really curious, then I'll tell you. The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Arl Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
What did you enjoy about the training?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Home is wherever the camp is. We are travelers now.
We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
They can be rebuilt.
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
I'm busy building relationships here, dude.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask
Ask
you
away.
something.
I already said I wouldn't. The answer is still no.
Okay.
What do you need? Ask away. Such as they are.
Alright.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
Yeah, I think we've done talking to him. I just want to see and the dog. Yeah, let's just pet the boy again. It's like so cute. Cute doggy. Yeah, so okay, we've built up can we actually see the relationship we have with them? Yeah. Approval plus 16, so we're still neutral with him. But didn't we get I think I sold it, didn't I? Yeah, we got the gift thing. And I think I actually went and sold it to that other guy for money. Yeah. It sounds like something I would do. Right, Sten, your turn. Let's go.
Why are we stopping?
I think we should talk a moment.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
Need to know if I can trust you to have my back.
I am Kunari. I have given my word to aid you. We are not people of idle promises.
I've never seen a Kunari before. Tell me about your people.
No.
No? Why not?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of... The elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
You said you were in the army.
I am.
Have you ever fought in the war?
I have always fought in war, elf.
So you must know your way around the battlefield then.
Some of them. They aren't all alike.
Are you always bad about answering questions?
Generally. I do not see how this matters. Seheron and Parvolan are distant. Ferelden and the Darkspawn are immediate.
Well, you're right. You're in a cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight. As you wish.
Ah, Stan, we got a little bit of approval there.
Yes.
What were you doing in the cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Are you going to answer my question?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
I wanted to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
Okay, that's not.
Then I suggest we move on.
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the question?
The Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
What's an Arishok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Kunari.
So he's your king.
Kunari have no kings.
What do you care about the Blight?
Why do you?
I'm a Grey Warden. It's my job.
Exactly. You don't ask, nor do I. The Arishok sends me and I go.
Did you find an answer to his question?
A portion of it.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Why do Kunori care about the blood?
Why do you?
Ferelden is my own.
So if this blight were in Orlais, it could consume the land with impunity. Don't strain yourself pondering that. I do not know why the Arishok sent us. He commands and I go.
Okay, fine, let's repeat.
Parshera, was there anything else?
No.
As you wish.
Let's just leave it. What was that? Is 11. Oh man, we definitely getting right here with him. Oh, 13, yeah, we making progress here.
Yes. Speak then.
Okay.
Then I suggest we move on. I am hardly surprised.
Alright.
Very well.
So it looks like
As you wish.
we talked to all of everything to him, so let's go do the last Morrigan. Hello.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
How did you become a shape changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mother has been doing this for a long time then.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. Indeed, you could learn the spells required if I cared to teach you.
Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
What do other animals think of you when you change shapes?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I'm shocked that you think so. Being a mage of the circle as you were. But perhaps you felt a little like a caged bird as well, caught within that dark tower.
Yes, very much so.
I thought so. Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
Maybe tied to a flagpole and tickled.
I wouldn't advise it. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Alright, so you got some approval there.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Can you teach? Okay, we already did that. Did you grow up in the Kokori Wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
You can. You can probe me anytime.
Beg pardon then, while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
And you remain unnoticed.
For the most part. Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. That sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped, and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally he was arrested.
That was quite quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
I have no idea. I'm not a human.
Do not speak to me of trivialities. Your culture is not so entirely different. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes, how to eat at a table, how to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Alright, so yeah, we're building nice relationships.
Yes?
Yeah? I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Okay, we already did that. Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
And you are cute when you are invasive.
Really? Perhaps we should be wrapped in ribbons and adorned with flowers. So cute are we, too. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
You really had no trouble with them?
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Flemeth used you as bait.
'Twas a game, and I a young girl. If I didn't get to play, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
They got what they deserved.
Perhaps they did. Still, I do not begrudge them doing what they believe is necessary. The Chantry sees any mages not leashed to the Circle of Magi as apostates, and apostates could become maleficarum, evil mages that resort to blood magic and become demon-enslaved abominations. It may even be true. Still, those of us who prefer freedom see no reason to submit.
I agree completely.
An interesting answer for a mage. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand. Yes?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Is Flemeth really what she seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
Human.
Oh, she certainly was human. Once. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I've heard little of it.
No doubt such a tale has mutated much over time and telling. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
That sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Just how long ago is this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
He sold his wife to another man?
The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
So she truly loved Osen then?
That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. all lies.
Which she never invaded, or he never defeated her.
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
An interesting story, thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
I love her. What else is there you want to know?
Nothing. I wish to know nothing more. I find myself a little envious, to tell the truth. But it matters not. Let us move on. Yes? If you must.
Alright, so there's no additional things we can ask
Yes?
you there. Let's go and so life in the wild must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
That sounds wonderful.
For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
So what happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
But you don't need to live that way any longer.
Do I not? I am still an apostate mage, even if I have left the wilds. The Darkspawn are yet undefeated. No, there is much that remains. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality. Yes? So, full of questions, are you?
Alright, so tell me, are you really Flemeth's daughter?
I assume you were actually asking whether Flemeth herself gave birth to me. Truly, I do not know. I once asked Flemeth that very question, and she merely laughed at me. 'Tis not inconceivable that she could capture a chastened man, or perhaps change to a more attractive form to attract him willingly. I find it more difficult to imagine her with child.
She was not always as old as she is now, was she?
As a matter of fact, I remember her being younger once. She had black hair, much like my own, long and lustrous. But how could that be if she is centuries old? Has she become wizened only recently? Or are the tales of her legend only that, and nothing more? I do know the tales of Flemeth having many daughters, even though I have never met another. And Flemeth has always treated me as her blood.
Does it mean you love her?
What an odd thing to say. Why must love enter into the equation? Flemeth taught me everything I needed to learn. How to survive, the meaning of power, the truth of men. If other mothers do not teach these things, then I believe them the lesser.
I suspect that's true.
You suppose it's true? 'Tis true. Take yourself. You do not honestly desire such things from me, do you? 'Tis better to be free of such cloying and cluttering delusions as love.
And what if I did want that?
Then more the fool you, I think. I tire of this discussion. Let us move on, shall we?
Okay, we've got two
Yes.
there. Anything else?
So, full of questions, are you?
Alright, so nothing there. And I see there's
Yes.
one last option. I would like to ask you something personal.
We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Right, so then let's not do that. Because I don't think we actually... he loves us. Right, so Sten going up. Well, she's actually... she's interested. Okay, but let's leave it like that for now. Yeah, I don't think let's not rush into something here. Alright, but I think we're gonna leave it here. We had a nice catch up. We understand our characters that we are with, our companions a little bit better. And in the next episode we will definitely jump into some action. So thank you for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you again in the next one.